Hello, welcome to my channel. The behavior of dismemberment is generally a behavior that occurs after a crime to cover up the crime, destroy evidence, or it is a behavior driven by abnormal emotional factors or psychological disorders. The case we are going to talk about today may have the two reasons above mentioned. And it's the daughter who killed her mother. It's a rare case of a female perpetrator to dismember the victim. It all started on the evening of the 21st of March 2013. Two construction workers discovered a black suitcase and several woven bags that smelled unmistakably foul. Both of them were just off work wandering like the usual. And the construction sites often built in those remote rural places back in the years. Curiosity killed the cat, and so as these two construction workers. They couldn't help but to open that smelly suitcase and these woven bags. It was dark. They couldn't have a clear look on what was inside of this, right? So one of them reached in and felt something soft instantly, and when he pulled it out, it was a human head. This rather similar scenario tells us that if we encountered a strange suitcase or package, like by the road or whatever, we should report it to the authorities. Under no circumstances should we open or touch it ourselves. Scared out of their wits, they called the police right away. After piecing together the tissues from the woven bags and the suitcase, the police confirmed that all the tissue belonged to the same person, but it was not complete. There were other parts not uncovered yet. But that tissues discovered clearly indicated a case of murder and dismemberment. The police immediately split into two teams, with one team visiting the site workers as well as the surrounding public to see if they could find any clues relating to the abandonment of the suitcase or to try the luck to identify the victim. The other team took the victim for more tests. At the same time, they comparing missing person to see if the victim could be matched. And soon, the police found a missing case that had been received just a day earlier. And it turned out that it's just a day before the crime. The police in Wuhou District, Chengdu City, had received a missing person report. It was a young man in his 20s, said that his mother and sister had suddenly disappeared. According to him, his mother was suffering from cancer and had come to Sichuan Cancer Hospital for treatment about a month ago, accompanied by his sister. During the whole hospitalization, he had been calling and in contact with his sister and mother literally every day. But it was on the 20th of March. He called them as usual, but no one answered anymore. They just completely disappeared. So he took off from work and rushed to the hospital, but he couldn't find them anywhere. He called police and reported the missing when he was devastated. His name was Luo Xiaolong, and his missing sister was Luo Xiaomin. His mom was Li Huachong. The police launched an investigation into the mother and daughter. According to the information given by the hospital, the mother and daughter didn't stay in the hospital for nights, just so they could save some money for the continuing treatment costs. In China at the time, many target drugs and chemotherapy drugs for cancer were not yet covered by the national medical insurance system. Therefore, once a member of a family was diagnosed with cancer, it would cause financial distress for the whole family. Luo Xiaomin, along her mother, had to stay in that Nanfeng guest house near the hospital for about 15 yuan a day. And even the hospital found it weird as the mother was about to get the last treatment on the 19th of March, but the mother-daughter didn't show up on time. When a family does everything in their power to save a loved one, they will never miss out on the last chance for treatment. Obviously, something very unfavorable had happened. The police found and entered the tiny rented place that the mother and daughter had lived in. This level of cleanliness is rather unusual, as few tenants leave a guest house or a motel with their rooms immaculately cleaned. While you could argue that tenants with obsessive-compulsory disorder and a cleanliness obsession might do so, the floors in that room were also polished. Even people with OCD wouldn't polish it like that. The unusually high level of cleanliness suggested an attempt to hide evidence of the crime. So the police focused on checking the walls, especially to the bathrooms. They quickly made a major discovery. The police found multiple small red marks in the room, which were confirmed through testing to be traces of human blood. Additionally, no bedding or sheets were found in the entire suite. At that point, the police believed it was likely that the mother and daughter had met with an untimely death. But after the lapse, they realized that the blood they found in that suite only belonged to the mother, Li Huaichong, and also the dismembered body was a matched DNA with Li Huaichong. They just thought at this point she could be abducted somehow, Their initial reaction was to consider the daughter as a victim too. They never wanted to think that she could be the culprit until more evidence and doubts surfaced. The mother and sister are missing, and now that the mother has been found murdered, where did the sister go? The sister was probably held hostage or killed elsewhere. But the missing sister could probably be the murderer as well. With this terrifying speculation in mind, the police returned to Nanfeng guest house and retrieved surveillance footage from the hallway, while also conducting interviews with neighboring tenants of the mother and daughter. According to the surveillance footage, on the evening of the 19th of March 2013, the mother and daughter returned to their suite at the guest house. After that, they never left the room. However, it was suspicious that from 2 a.m. on the 20th of March, Liu Xiaomin began to frequently enter and exit the room, carrying buckets, basins, and rags. Due to these suspicious actions, the police believed that the possibility of Liu Xiaomin being the perpetrator greatly increased. They quickly contacted her brother, Luo Xiaolong, to see if he knew anything about her. Her brother told the police that Luo Xiaomin had a rental flat, but he only knew its rough direction. He didn't know the specific address. The police came to this rough direction and basically tried their lucks. And lucky as they were, they quickly found the residence of Luo Xiaomin through simple inquiries. After some waiting, Luo Xiaomin came into the sight of the police and was apprehended. It's worth mentioning that when Luo Xiaomin was arrested, her hair was very disheveled, with dry grass and branches on it, and she was not wearing shoes, with a lot of mud and sand on her feet. There were also red marks behind her ears and on her pants, among other spots in her clothes. After examination, 3 marks were found to belong to her mother. Although it was now basically certain that Luo Xiaomin was the suspect, the police were unsure of her motive and whether she had companies. Therefore, they decided to play it safe and test her with language first. Police asked her, "Do you know that your mother was murdered at the guest house?" Luo Xiaomin initially appeared very sad, then calmly replied, "I don't know." And she claimed that her mother told her to go off and she didn't want her near anymore. So Luo Xiaomin said she didn't even visit the guest house. Her lies were caught, though, when the police showed her the CCTV, where clearly displayed her appearance in the hallway of the guest house. She was questioned about her motive when she was coming in and out of that guest house in the middle of the night, which was all recorded by the surveillance cameras. Then she engaged in a seemingly inexplicable conversation with the police. "Why am I detained here? I didn't do anything bad. Last time I record." Smiley face. "Where is your mother?" "She died in the hospital." Smiley face again. "Her death was related to you or not?" "Nope." Smiley face. Looking at her cheeky smile, the police were suddenly at a loss. She couldn't be mentally ill, or could she? So while the police conducted a psychiatric evaluation to Luo Xiaomin, they also visited her brother to get to know her further. According to the brother, their family was based on the countryside. Their father had been paralyzed since he could remember, and his mother was a teacher in the village. The whole family was always short for money. As far as he could remember, his mother had to work during the day and came back at night to take care of his father and two children, which was unimaginably difficult. But even so, his mother often taught his older sister, Luo Xiaomin, that she must study hard and set an example for her younger brother. His mother had entrusted Luo Xiaomin to her brother, Luo Xiaomin's uncle, to help look after Luo Xiaomin's life, and tried her best to give Luo Xiaomin a better environment when the daughter was about to attend the entrance exam for universities. His mother wanted the best for his elder sister. After constant ideological indoctrination by their mother, the siblings firmly believed that knowledge could change their destiny. By entering university to study, they believed they would eventually obtain good careers and lives after graduation, thus improving their family and personal financial environment. In 2001, Luo Xiaomin took the college entrance exam and was admitted to the law department of the Southwest Petroleum University with excellent scores. During her time in the university, not only did she receive national student loans, but she also worked multiple part-time jobs to support herself. It seemed that her fate was really starting to change because of attending university. In 2007, when Luo Xiaomin was facing graduation, she thought that the pressure of survival in big city was too much and not suitable for her, while a remote place could be less stressful since no one would like to stay and there could be less competition. So she chose to work in a rather underdeveloped area at the time and was immediately joined PetroChina in Tianshui City, Gansu Province. She was offered a job with an annual salary of 100,000 yuan, which was about 1,214 USD annually in 2007. It wasn't bad in China back then. At that time, her younger brother thought that his sister was truly a role model and the whole family was happy for Luo Xiaomin. However, the good times did not last long. After a few years, Luo Xiaomin quitted the job and returned to Chengdu City. Her family couldn't understand why she left her job. It seemed like she was snapped and stopped working suddenly without reason. Luo Xiaomin tried to explain that the climate was too dry for her to adapt to. It's just an excuse. But her parents treated it seriously. They were furious about it. They felt that the whole family of theirs had worked hard to support her through such difficult conditions. And she just quitted her good job because she was not used to the weather. What a first world problem. Their family was not accepting that. On the day of her return, the whole family had a big fight with Luo Xiaomin. In the end, Luo Xiaomin left home in anger and rented a very dilapidated flat where she was arrested later. Since she was left, they didn't contact each other anymore until their mother was diagnosed with cancer. Families are families, right? Her brother called his sister right away when their mother was ill. Luo Xiaomin immediately returned home and took her mother to a tumor hospital for treatment. And then on the 30th of February, the mother and daughter disappeared together. Through the storytelling of her brother, the police realized that the relationship between Luo Xiaomin and her parents did not seem to be very tense. She'd take her mother to the hospital knowing clearly that the treatment was basically unaffordable, especially when she was unemployed. She cared deeply for her mother. So what exactly happened to Luo Xiaomin during this only a month of treating process? She'd kill her own mother and looking insane with all smiles and confused reactions when she was talking to the police. To further understand the situation, the police uncovered another key feature in the brothers' account. It was Luo Xiaomin's uncle. She had a very close relationship with her uncle. The police decided to see if they could get Luo Xiaomin to open up and express her true thoughts and feelings through conversations with her uncle. When her uncle realized that he could help, he was certainly willing to cooperate, so the police arranged for him to have a private conversation with Luo Xiaomin. At first, Luo Xiaomin continued to act crazy and silly, but when her uncle talked about their childhood memories, she finally broke down and admitted to the crime of matricide. She finally agreed to take the police to recover the missing parts of her mother's body. During the process of identifying and recovering the remains with the police, the craziness of Luo Xiaomin once again scared police. They said that she would suddenly blurt out like, "Oh, look how fat it is," with a silly smile. Well, we know the story of Oedipus killing his father, marrying his mother, right? What was the reason for Luo Xiaomin to kill her own mother? Let's retell the story of Luo Xiaomin from her side. She graduated from university and joined the company in the very remote city in Gansu province, which is these miles away from her hometown, Chengdu. She was determined to achieve. She almost brainwashed herself into working so incredibly hard, just so one day she could earn so much that she'd bring her family out of poverty. Within a few years, she went from being an ignored newcomer in the workplace to a highly educated, capable, and attractive rising star in her career. Despite achieving a modicum of success through sheer hard work, she was oblivious to the potential risks and harm that laid ahead. It was an after-work gathering. They were meeting up clients with a bunch of colleagues as well. After alcohol, Luo Xiaomin rested in a hotel alone. Well, she thought she was alone, but it turned out her manager set her up and threatened her of her career and stuff, promising promotions. The typical when it comes to sexual harassment in the workplace. At the time, she thought if she was to say no, she would suffer the consequences. Not to mention the promotion or salary increase. She'd lose everything she had worked all these years and ended up unemployed there in Gansu province, which is too far away from her hometown. It's hard for someone who is being harassed at work to speak out because they risk being disbelieved, retaliated against, or even fired. They may feel trapped and powerless, and the emotional toll of the experience can be devastating. And so did Luo Xiaomin. She complied to it just so she can keep her job. But she did receive a promotion after that night in the hotel. This manager may already be a notorious repeated offender, and other colleagues saw that she had received a promotion and salary increase just by accompanying this manager to socialize once. Everyone knew what was going on. Although there were sympathizers, there were also many people who ridiculed and mocked her. It's not like she wanted to be with him, so she got especially embarrassed when she received negative signals from her colleagues. So she quickly brought up to this manager that she wanted a clear boundary and she didn't want to have private interactions with him anymore. But of course, this manager wouldn't just set her free, as he did promote her and gave her a pay raise. He became obsessed with Luo Xiaomin somehow. And I forgot to mention that he was married when he harassed Luo Xiaomin. He tried to control her like a canary. And at the same time, his wife also found out about his extramarital affair. Not sure if that wife knew the whole picture, but she did, was a jealous one. On the day the wife found out about the affair, she went to her husband's company and caused a scene, publicly insulting Luo Xiaomin. At that point, Luo Xiaomin had completely lost dignity and could no longer stay in that company anymore. Even though the company probably knew that she was a victim herself in that situation, she resigned and fled back to her hometown. I think back in the years, due to a lack of understanding of gender equality, people may not regard the women who were subjected to workplace sexual harassment or forced to accept extramarital affairs as victims. So not only those around them, but also the victims themselves would commonly consider themselves guilty. Luo Xiaomin was a case. She was too shameful to tell the truth to her families. She could only blame it to the weather when she was asked the reason why she was leaving the company. Ideally, she could restart her career in her hometown. She's a graduate and worked in the PetroChina for quite a few years. It shouldn't be difficult for her to get a career there, right? However, she had applied, if not thousands of positions over a period of time. She just wouldn't get a positive response. Would it be that her education background wasn't high enough? Well, she thought might be. A master's degree could greatly help the situation. So she decided to prepare the application for a master's degree, relying on her savings from previous job, until she received that very phone call from her brother that telling her that her mother was diagnosed with cancer. Plans could never keep up with the changes. I guess Luo Xiaomin decided that her mother was more important than her master's degree anyway. So she paid for her mother's treatment and accompanied her for the hospitalization. Now both she and her mother, also her mother's medical bills, were living off her savings. Luo Xiaomin naturally felt the pressure and started to have minor conflicts with her mother. When they were chit-chatting, her mother often doubted and complained that Luo Xiaomin quitted her last job was a mistake. Whilst she was too shameful to explain the truth to her mother, Luo Xiaomin was basically had to suffer the financial pressure and a almost mental torment from her mother asking why she was quitting her previous job. I guess that was driving her crazy, and she snapped in an evening of mid-March 2013. They were having this endless circle of why she had to leave her last job. Luo Xiaomin bursted out crying and blaming that her parents couldn't provide for her. She had to endure with all the unfairness that was due to poverty. She couldn't suppress her emotions. so she hid away when the conflicts broke off. But once she calmed down in a few days, braved up and returned to that rented suite with her mother near the hospital, she found her mother all packed and ready to leave. Her mother didn't want to continue her treatment anymore. Parents loved their children more than their lives here. Luo Xiaomin's mother didn't want to burden her anymore, so she suggested that both of them returning to the village where had an even lower cost of living. The story here should be warm and touching, although in fact, Luo Xiaomin didn't want to go back to the countryside, and she wanted to continue trying and got a better life in the city. The twist of the story appeared unexpectedly. During the discussion between the mother and daughter about whether to return home, well, the home and the countryside, the mother inadvertently brought up the fact that Luo Xiaomin had resigned from her previous job and expressed great regret. That was the last straw that broke Luo Xiaomin's composure, and she could no longer control her emotions. She suddenly grabbed the fruit knife that was lying on the table and stabbed it right into her mother's throat. Her mother died in shocking. Luo Xiaomin, instead of feeling guilty or sorry, she computed quite a few methods on how to get rid of her body. Her dismemberment behavior belongs to the typical self-protection type motive, and cases of dismemberment with this motive are usually accompanied by corpse disposal, which she did. She was captured on cameras, carrying water back and forth, since she needed to clean the floor thoroughly. Finally, she took the luggage and woven bags that contained her mother, going out of the guest house from the back door, where was the blind spot in the surveillance. That's why her leaving was not captured by the cameras. Well, we haven't mentioned.
We kinda did though. It's just that I forgot when I recorded this.
She was a graduate of law school. Perhaps due to her academic background in law, she intentionally acted foolish and insane after being arrested. Unfortunately, the police's assessment showed that she was not mentally ill when committing the crime. In the end, in 2017, she was sentenced to life imprisonment. The reason why she was not given the death penalty was reported because the court believed that Luo Xiaomin did not intentionally commit the murder, but rather act impulsively during an argument with her mother. Therefore, from the perspective of subjective intent, the court did not impose the heaviest penalty of death on her. Luo Xiaomin's story ends here. So we can go back to our discussion from the beginning. Dismemberment is usually a behavior that happens after a crime to hide the evidence or cover up the crime, or it can be a behavior caused by abnormal emotions or psychological disorders. Luo Xiaomin obviously wanted to cover up her crimes, both the dismemberment and to pretend to be mentally ill. Her psychological evaluation showed that she was mentally sound and could be held legally responsible. However, she was extremely repressed regarding being forced to leave her previous employer. If her negative emotions can be properly guided or released, perhaps she wouldn't be like an overinflated balloon that bursts upon being poked, committing unforgivable and irreversible mistakes.
I have so much to say about topics related to workplace harassment and gender equality, but I don't know where to start.
I can only quote the following sentence when it comes to the working and social environments that women face. I do not want to see one human being ride on another human being's shoulders. I don't want to see one race or sex have more power than another. by Susan Brownell Anthony. Thank you for watching and see you in the next case.